So I've made this creamy chicken, parsley and lemon pasta dish so many times in this house, but I feel like I've finally perfected the recipe, so I'm going to share it with you guys. A lot of you have been asking how I did it when you've seen it in my meals of the week. Very, very simple, very few ingredients. It's really quick to make and it feels like you've put a lot more effort in than you really have. This is definitely a cheats version. We're not going to be using a million different ingredients. We're just going to keep it nice and simple and affordable. I'm actually using these chicken drum fillets. You could use chicken thighs or chicken breast if you wanted. I think the thighs and the darker meat work perfectly for this. You also need 1 head of broccoli. My secret ingredient, which my dad used to use all the time when we were kids, is a can of condensed soup. I'm using chicken. You could use celery, you could use mushroom, it really doesn't matter. And if you're in the UK, the best place to get this is either Home Bargains or B&M, because it's about 69-79p, whereas everywhere else it's about 180 now. I'm going to use some garlic. If you want to use fresh, that's fine. I've just got a cube of frozen garlic, which is the equivalent of 2 or 3 chopped cloves. Obviously we need salt and pepper. So I'm using a white wine stock pot and a chicken stock pot. I'm not going to make these up with water. We're actually going to be using our pasta water. If you wanted to add white wine instead of a white wine stock pot, then I would just add less pasta water as you go, completely up to you. I'm going to use the juice of 1 whole lemon, probably around a tablespoon of cream cheese. I've got the herb one. Doesn't really matter what one you use, but I just feel like it adds that little touch of creaminess. One of the most important things that I've discovered recently is adding tons and tons of fresh parsley. So I would say a large handful, if I show you how much that is in there. So a great big handful of parsley. We're just going to chop this up, save a little bit to sprinkle on the top, but this is like the secret ingredient to this dish and it really elevates it. And I've called this a pasta dish, but you can serve this with mashed potato, with rice. You can serve it on its own and just add some fresh crusty bread if you'd like. So obviously you're going to need whatever you decide to serve it with, and in this case we're using pasta. So first things first, I'm going to chop my chicken and my broccoli, heat up a pan with a little bit of oil, and then we're going to start cooking. So I've sprayed some oil in my pan and got it nice and hot, and then I've added in my chicken drum fillets and seasoned them really well with salt and pepper. Just going to let those brown a little bit, and then we're going to go in with our garlic and our broccoli. I'm just going to give that about 5 minutes until the broccoli started to brown and the chicken's almost cooked. So once we started to get some nice colour on our chicken, we've got all those lovely flavours in the pan, we're going to turn the heat right down, and now I'm going to add in my lemon juice. So I've just squeezed 1 whole lemon. I'm going to add in both of my stock pots, so one is chicken and my white wine stock, or you could add your white wine at this stage. I'd say it's probably the equivalent to a small glass, like 125ml, but just bear in mind it will be more liquidy. Then I'm going to add in my tin of soup. I'm going to save the tin because I'm going to wash it out with some of the pasta water. I'm also going to use around a tablespoon or so of the Philadelphia. Just adds a little bit of creaminess. And we're going to give this a mix. I'm also going to add in my parsley. Got about a handful. If you are not keen on parsley, obviously don't put as much in, but this really adds such a nice flavour and it mixes with the lemon perfectly. If you didn't want to use any wine or any white wine stock cube, you could add a little bit more lemon juice or some lime juice instead if you would rather not use that flavour at all. So that's quite nice and thick, but what we're going to do now is put our water on to boil our pasta. And then once our pasta's boiled, we can adjust the consistency of the sauce using the pasta water. Pasta water is a brilliant tip if you've never used it in sauces, because it contains all the starch from the pasta. It just helps to bind the sauce together. So I'm going to put my water on for my pasta, and I'm just going to leave this on a really low heat to simmer away. So when your pasta is very nearly ready, I've just ladled out about 3/4 of a tin full of the pasta water. I'm just going to pour that in. So I'm going to bring that up to a simmer, and I'm just going to leave it while my pasta finishes cooking. You can see we've got quite a nice consistency sauce. The reason I add that much pasta water, I prefer to mix the sauce in with the pasta rather than popping it on the top. So the pasta is going to absorb some of that sauce and it just coats it really nicely. I would say this serves 4 really generous portions, so however much pasta you would cook for 4 people, that's what I would do for this recipe, but it depends on appetites, the ages of people in your family. So I'm going to say this will probably be another 5 minutes while I finish off my pasta and let it drain. I'm just going to let it bubble slowly, stirring occasionally, and then I'm going to mix my drained pasta through it and we will serve it up. So I've mixed in my pasta. I've added some more fresh parsley on the top. A really nice big squeeze of lemon juice would also be perfect on this now. And if you wanted to, you could top it with really strong mature cheddar or some parmesan, and that's it. Really quick, really simple, really affordable, and definitely a crowd pleaser. My family absolutely love it, and hopefully yours will too. So that is it for this video. I hope you've enjoyed it. If you have, please leave me a like and subscribe if you'd like to see more recipes like this. I'll be back really soon with another video. Take care, guys.
It's what you're doing, making me feel